Hi there, and welcome to the fourth and final part of the Sailing Developer Blog. I'm your host Gnome, and today we'll be talking about lore and integration, or how sailing will fit into the story and landscape of Gielinor. If you're new to the sailing skill, be sure to check out Part 1, Navigation, where we go over what it looks like to sail. Part 2, Core Gameplay, which details the activities sailing will include. And Part 3, Rewards, or what you get from training the skill. But for now, let's discuss lore and integration. How will the game address the player's ability to sail? What changes will be accommodated to meet the new skill? How will sailing fit in with the rest of RuneScape? The world of Gielinor has always had a need for ships. From transporting mass goods, to discovering new places, to conducting naval warfare, the sea has been an essential part in building the world of today. As an adventurer, you've previously brushed against some of these aspects while traveling about or completing quests, but always in tightly controlled, static environments. This changes with sailing, where you are put at the helm and get to traverse the ocean on an adventure of your own making. To help get you grounded, a new quest will be added called Maiden Voyage, where Ned's son Rob is looking to follow in his father's footsteps and tackle the high seas, but his eyes are set on a treasure hunting challenge that might land you in a little more trouble than expected. Besides introducing you to the skill, the quest will jumpstart your sailing journey with a simple boat to take where you please. Now, during the navigation blog, we discussed a bit of what the ocean will look like once you floated your first ship. So let's dive into that a little further. Because some of the vessels you'll be sailing will be quite large, it's important to avoid cluttering up our shores or getting you caught in narrow causeways, so the ocean will be divided into shallow, open, and deep seas. Small boats will work best in shallow waters like Sarum Bay, while large and colossal ships are better suited for open and deep waters like the Caramjan or Caridian seas. You'll be able to access the ocean at ports, which act as bridges between current land masses and the newly traversable oceans. Sailing will bring newfound life to ports, as they'll be where you obtain, store, upgrade and customize your ship, trade mercantile goods, and pick up port tasks. This will inevitably require some changes to these areas, but the old school team's committed to integrating them naturally and ensuring the places you already know and love don't stray too far from their current design. Although you may always sail solo, you'll also be able to put together a crew at a port to help you out at sea, which can include other players or a mix of new and pre-existing NPCs. For example, perhaps you can convince Vanica or Duradel to join you if you're proficient enough Slayer, or if you're truly evil, you can get Evil Dave to leave his mother's basement, or if you've completed Song of the Elves, Elena might be willing to join you in your nautical adventures. Speaking of quests, if you're an experienced adventurer, you've been to islands like Ape Atoll through Monkey Madness and Lunar Isle through Lunar Diplomacy, that with sailing are located on easily accessible waters. To deal with these, unless there's a mooring point like a dock or port on a quest-locked island, you won't be able to land there. Places that do have mooring points will be handled individually, like the Pirates of Mostly Harmless shooing you off with cannonballs unless you've completed Cabin Fever, or Elvark herself driving you from Crandor unless you've finished Dragon Slayer. Similarly, you've already experienced some sailing-like content through Maiden Voyage and Cabin Fever, which, with sailing, will be adapted to use the new skill's mechanics. While any quest with sailing-related content will not have additional requirements, they will give a sailing XP lamp upon completion with a minimum level to use. Another existing system to tackle is whether your ship's sinking should qualify as a player death, particularly in regards to death costs in hardcore Ironmen. Just because your ship sinks doesn't necessarily mean you die too. The game could rescue you and send you safely back to shore. This is still an active area of discussion that will be further investigated if proper development proceeds to get a better feel for the overall ship mechanics and find out what players think is best. Another concern for all Irons is whether they can join another player's ship, and therefore bypass certain sailing and ship requirements for accessing new areas and activities. Similar to player-owned houses, this will not be possible for Irons. If you need help, you can instead recruit NPC crewmates or rely on your group Iron team. Now with an entire new skill will also come new stories and characters, so let's talk about a few groups of special interest in the high seas. In the last blog, we introduced the Tortugans, the turtle people who live on the Great Conch. They're a secluded community led by their elders, where each individual has a role to contribute and takes great pride in their work. Tortugans paint their shells with their life's achievements and craft a spear as a rite of passage during adolescence, dedicating themselves to their creation as a lifelong, universal tool of peace, war, and expression of identity. The next faction is the Barracudas, a group of thrill-seeking sailors who run the Barracuda trials for you to test your mettle. Rather than a formal group, they're a mix of people with a shared love for the challenge of sailing dangerous waters, led by their founder Mako, a welcoming but fearsome master of the seas. If you're looking to improve your navigational skills, you'll find them quite open to beginners, instilling you with their same drive for self-improvement. You may also find the alliance of merchants running about at ports, through whom flows incredible wealth and opportunity. They'll buy exotic resources from you, sell you unique items that can't be found elsewhere, and offer you pay for completion of port tasks. Behind the curtains, however, it's quite the cutthroat business, rife with bribes, privateers, and shady deals in a reckless race to the top. Finally, we have the Shipwrights Association, who manage the ports of Gielinor and provide services to seafaring adventurers, like retrieving your ship from another port or from out at sea to your current port, repairing damaged ships, recovering capsized vessels, helping to construct low to mid-level facilities, and selling schematics for you to improve your ship. Now, the seas are home to more than just factions of humanoids. On your adventures, you may just chance upon a deadly sea legend, creatures, people, or mere forces of nature at the heart of many whispered tales. These legends will be encountered during sea monster hunts, quests, or simply through exploring the oceans. They include the Sharhai, an unknowable underwater horror that preys on unsuspecting vessels, the Dark Dame, a dreaded pirate ship manned by an infamous crew who will inexplicably appear and disappear at will, and Rolkar the Thunderbird, a gargantuan winged beast who only appears within the most terrible thunderstorms at sea. And with that, we're brought to the end of the final Sailing Developer blog. If you still have questions, please see the full blog in the description. To both players and JMods alike, thank you for joining me on this adventure. Old School is built on the collaboration of player and developer, and has been a joy to both watch sailing grow from that dynamic and to have the opportunity to realize the skill in video form. In turn, I hope you've enjoyed journeying alongside me. I'll see you shortly for a final summary of the sailing skill, but after then, perhaps we'll meet again. Ideally with tiller in hand, main sheet in the other.